Woo! What's up, everybody, and welcome to Nathan's AutoCAD. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is move this thingy down so I can get started. Oh, crap. We just undo that so I can copy. There we go. Let me see if my mic, yeah, my mic's working. Alright, so we're going to be creating the front side of this piece right here. So I've done it already up here. That's what it's going to look like in the end. We're going to have to create the hole of the pipe, the back end of the base. Alright, let's get started. So first thing you're going to want to do is make some rays so you can use as construction lines. And we're going to go ahead and switch the construction layer while we make these lines. Hang on a second. Turn on. Alright, see how they are up there? We're going to do them down here too. Alright, ray. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and keep, and I'm using the space bar to reinitialize the previous command I just used. You're going to use the space bar to start the command you just used. And I'm just making my construction lines. I'm going to delete this one because it's just confusing me right now. Okay. Crap. Alright, I need to pull up the drawing real quick. So if you don't already have the drawing open, go ahead and turn to page 239. We're on problem 5, chapter 8. Okay. So go ahead and switch back to your object layer. And we're going to be creating the base right now. So you can hover over the base right here and grab this this endpoint and extend it on over, so we know that we're going to be starting on the same path as this base. So everything, we want to stay on these rays, so everything will be perfectly aligned with the right hand drawing. And I'm going to start way over here. And the entire length is 19 units because that's the diameter of the base. I'm going to turn my midpoint on because I'll need that in a few seconds. Go ahead and switch to your construction layer, or yeah, go ahead and switch to your construction layer. We're going to start in the middle, and remember, just like in the right hand side over here, we're going to be creating the outside part of the pipe in our front view right now. So the diameter of that is 12 units. Now, what you could do is you could start from the middle, hover over the endpoint, the midpoint, and extend it over. And you see how it says midpoint, and then it has units like 2.0505 it says right now. And it keeps on getting bigger and bigger as I move away from it. What you can do is, and let me switch to my object layer while I'm doing this. What you can do, see how I'm going this way again, and the number keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's not creating a line in between my crosshairs and the midpoint. This is just an extension of how far I am from that midpoint. I can actually choose how far I want to start this line from this midpoint, how far away. So the pipe begins with a 12 unit diameter inside of the base that we just made. So diameter is distance across the entire circular object. So half of that from the midpoint would be 6 units out of 12. Half of that would be 6 units. So what I can do is I can just type in 6, and I'm going to start this object line actually 6 units away from the midpoint, as you can tell from right there. And I'm going to drag it all the way up until this mark right here, it looks like. But we're going to bring this down eventually though. We're going to have a circle right here, an ellipse, several ellipses right here actually. So we're going to figure out where this line actually ends in our drawing a bit later. But we're going to go ahead and create those lines right now, and we'll adjust them as we go. So this is the outside piece of the pipe. Now, what you could have done is you could have just started from the middle and gone over 6 units. And you could have just started your object lines from there. I was just showing you an easier way of doing it. Okay. Now, we're going to be creating our hidden lines. So the pipe is a unit thick all the way around. And let me see here. Okay, so the whole has a the whole of the pipe has a diameter of 10 units. Go ahead and switch back to our object. No. Okay. So since it's inside of the pipe, we're going to be going in hidden layer. Since we can't see inside the pipe, you know. And the diameter is 10 units. But like I said before, you could just start from the midpoint of the base, go 5 units over, and there is your hidden line for the pipe. And we're going to connect it with the hidden line over here. Maybe I should bring it up a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, now I'm going to create my first ellipse. I'm going to drag these up a little bit to be on the same line ray as the center point, because these are actually going to be on both sides of the circle. So here's where the circle is going to start, in the middle somewhere over here, and these hidden lines are actually going to be on both sides of it. I'm right? Yeah. Okay. I'm cheating. Looking back at my old drawing. Okay. Now, let's create our first ellipse. Now, we've done these before, but I don't really remember a lot about the ellipse. So I'm going to play with it real quick. The heck? Alright, so I figured out what was wrong with my last, before I ended the clip. So I had a ray right here at this endpoint going that way, when really this is the center that I want to be latched onto. This is the actual center of the circle created right here. So I deleted my old ray, created a new one, latched onto the center line right here, the center point. Because our front view, this is an entire circle. This whole thing is a circle. And I created my ellipse from that. Alright, back on track. So, to create an ellipse, what we're going to want to do is, and I think you can do this one or this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose center, because I think that's easier. And let me pull my lines down to meet the ray I just corrected. And okay, back to our ellipse, center. So to find the center, you're going to want to latch onto your endpoint and latch onto your midpoint down here. And what that's going to do is that's going to extend it. See, we're going through all these lines, meeting all these intersections in the middle. And that's the midpoint of in between these two lines. So we've specified the center. Now we're going to specify an endpoint. And that would be right here where this hidden line is. And I accidentally made this in, we're going to specify the width to end the command. And I'm going to change this into an object layer. Okay, so this is our frontmost face. This is pretty much the primary hole of the pipe right here. See how it matches up? The hidden lines are on the quadrants. Okay. Let me check, see how this is looking. Okay, so it should be pretty much smooth sailing from now. We're going to create this ellipse. Okay, so it looks like we only have a couple commands left. Okay, so notice right here, turn my construction lines off. Notice right here how the base is for the top part of the piece, the pipe. We have a hole right here. We have part of the pipe right here. Okay, so let me see if I can make this a little bit more. Just use some random thing so I can show you what we're looking at here. X line. What? X line. Work. Okay. So we just created the circle from here to here. Now we're going to have to create a circle from here to here. Notice how part of the base of this elbow, this pipe, is behind the field of view, because we're going to be looking at it from this way. This is going to be our front view. We're looking at it from this way. So we can see this. If we're looking at this like from this direction, we're going to see this piece of the pipe of the base. I'm just going to call this the base from now on. We're going to see this part of the base. This is going to show up as an object. This corner right here is going to show up as an object line. But it's also going to be circular. So we're going to have to create an ellipse. Make sure my video is still going. We're going to need to create an ellipse for right here. We're also going to need to create a separate ellipse for this corner right here, because this corner is hidden. And from the front view, these corners, they show up as ellipses, since this entire base is a circular object in the front view. On the side view, it's a rectangular object, but on the front, as you can see, it's going to be circular. And this is how they're going to look like. The one in the back right here is going to show up as a hidden line. And the one on the bottom, the one we can see from this direction, is going to show up as an object line. Alright, so now that I've explained that headache, we're going to turn back construction lines on. And turn off, we're going to delete some of the rays that we don't need anymore. I don't think I ever needed that one. Or that one. Well, yeah, I guess I kind of did. Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah, that. Okay. So we have our hole created. Now, we're not going to need that. Now, we're going to create our ellipse for the base. we're going to grab our center ellipse. I'll try and latch on to the, make sure your center is active. We're going to latch on to the center of the ellipse. And the diameter of the base is the same as the bottom base, which is, well, the radius is 9.5. The true distance of the base is a diameter of 19 units. If you divide 19 by 2, you're going to get 9.5. So the radius is going to be 9.5 units for this ellipse. So you can go ahead and grab the center point and start this way and just enter in 9.5, or you can just hover over the bottom endpoint, the base endpoint, grab it and bring it up, and it should equal out to 9.5. If it doesn't, then you should probably fix that. Now, we've selected our width, and I'm in construction again. I don't know why. And I chose the width. Now I'm going to choose the height, which the height isn't going to be true. What we want what I'm saying is the height of the ellipse isn't going to equal like any particular, we have in the textbook, we have no idea what the height is. It's just going to be some random crazy decimal number like it's showing right now. The only thing we really want to be true is the width of our ellipse. And the reason the circle is an ellipse is because we're looking at it, we're creating a top view, a front view, but it's angled. You see what I'm saying? In Mr. Buffa's class, we'd probably be creating an auxiliary view right here. And I actually could create an auxiliary view. It would be pretty freaking easy since it's just a bunch of circles. Let me switch this to object layer. And then make object layer my freaking default for right now. My current layer. Alright. So we created the ellipse that matches this corner and this corner because we can see both of those corners. Now, I don't need those anymore. I don't believe. Alright, now we're going to create ellipses, hidden ellipses for this line, and an object layer ellipses for this one. Now we can do that using an elliptical arc. I think this is the one we're going to use. So specify axis endpoint or elliptical arc or center. So I'm going to try center. I'm going to play with this a little bit. Right there. Specify endpoint or axis. I'm going to try this out as my endpoint. Specify start angle or perimeter. Okay, that was weird. I'm not really entirely sure how I made that, so I'm going to remake it again, but in slow-mo. elliptical arc. Specify axis endpoint of elliptical arc or center. Alright, so we're choosing center to latch onto the center. I mean, to tell it that we want the center, to choose to make this command with the center. I've latched onto it. Now I'm going to click to select the center. Now I'm going to select an endpoint for the axis, which is going to be the quadrant of the base. Because this is the entire base right here. Right now I'm just creating a hidden line up here and an object line down here for this corner and this corner. So I'm going to start right here for the endpoint. Specify the distance, which I want it to be down here. And I'm going to specify where I want the angle to start. See, we've just created an ellipsis right here, ellipses, whatever. Now, we're telling it where we want our angle to start, where we want the arc to start. So we've created this whole thing right here. But since we chose ellipses arc, we've made it, and now we have the option to choose which part of it we want to keep. Does that make sense? So now that we've created this whole thing, we're going to choose where we want it to start and where we want it to end. So we're going to start right here on this quadrant. Click, and bring it all the way around to the other quadrant. Now, like I said beforehand, our lines right here, they're going to be down here. I said before we were going to be moving these. Alright, that looks good. Now we're going to create our hidden ellipses. And we're going to be doing the same thing as before. We're going to be connecting to the center, the quadrant. Oh, whoops. I didn't specify center. Alright, now I specified the center. Center, the radius, whatever. And we'll latch onto that. And the same thing as the bottom. We're just going to be choosing which part of the ellipses we want to keep. So start from your quadrant, intersection. It should be like 3 things right here: an endpoint, quadrant, or an intersection. And I kind of messed up. Alright, so the ellipses, they like going counterclockwise. For some reason, they won't let you go clockwise whenever you want to do certain commands. I think arcs are kind of like the same way. So we're going to redo that command, but we're going to do it a different direction. Specify your center. Grab your center. Radius. The height. And specify what part of the arc you want to keep. Now, switch that arc, that ellipses arc you just made, to a hidden layer. Bam. Now, all you need to do, if you want, I don't think you can use the center mark annotation for an ellipses. Let me see if I can. No, it won't let you. So you're going to need to, and this is a circular object all the way through. Remember that. This is the beginning of the pipe. This is the hole, the ending of the pipe, and make sure your hitting line goes all the way through as well. Because the hole extends all the way through. That's why I extended my hidden lines all the way down. I forgot to earlier. So we're on our center line layer. And I'm going to start, see I've grabbed the endpoint right here. I'm going to hover maybe 1 unit outside of it. I'm going to end 1 unit outside on the other side. And I'm going to go all the way through. It's a lot of work. Does that look, that looks the same, right? Yeah, that's good. Alright, so you completed number 5.